don't wanna miss you like I do. I thought certainly by this point I'd be through to the other side of love, where it's not just you I'm thinking of. And I consider, wouldn't it be such a home run to go and spend my life with someone? It's not that I want to play things down. It would just be nice if there was someone else around who made me feel the way you make me feel. 'Cause I would rather not appeal for just a sliver. Don't wanna miss you like I do. Don't wanna fall asleep with someone else, dream about you. Don't wanna think about how we'll get back together. The last thing I do is forget you. Missing you ain't that much better. Swimming out against the tide feels just the same. 'Cause I don't moments.
Check, check, check. 1, 2, 1, 2, check.
Wish I could find attitude to stop myself from missing you like I do. 'Cause I don't wanna miss you like I do. Not quite broken hearted, not quite blue, but it's a special kind of woe. My melancholy tells me so and lets me go on. Don't wanna miss you.
Hello, hello. Check, check, mic, check and micin' and testing and rolling. Guys, my name is Sarah Brito. Thank you all to a room for every vibe. And actually, this is a very special A Room for Every Vibe. It's the first one here at Unbranded, and hopefully we hope to have many more. But tonight we're gonna kick it off by the panelists. I'm super excited to have these women on stage because I admire each of them actually, so very much individually. So I'm gonna just announce them as I get out of their area. So we have Eileen. I would love to get you guys all seated down here so we can start this panel. It's going to be an engaging discussion. Our audience is going to be able to ask questions about the scene, art, tech. Yeah, babe, any of these three. We also have Ruth. She's coming on her way. Guys, cheer it up. Yo, I'm like, yes! So Ruth's art is actually displayed on this beautiful wall, and once the panel's done, we're gonna turn on all the lights and you guys will actually be able to see all the beautiful art that's hanging on. And we have Claudia La Villanca, very special woman in Wynwood, amazing muralist. She has so many pieces of art in Wynwood, it's insane. Since 2014, she has been doing her thing. Come here, esta. And lastly, we're gonna get our moderator up here, Crispy. What? All right, we got 2 mics here, so you guys can share. I'm gonna pass the mic on to Crispy.
I have one.
Yeah, and here I'm gonna just put you guys, if you guys can, individually introduce yourselves. Yeah. All right, guys. So Claudia, if you guys can each introduce yourselves, and we'll begin like that.
1, 2, yeah. Hey. I am Claudia, originally from Italy. I'm a multimedia artist. I started with, oh no, we're just introducing, so I'm Claudia, that's it.
Hello, my name is Ruth. I am an illustrator. Let me just pass it to
Hi everyone, my name is Hylene. I'm a multi-dimensional artist with a focus of light and color theory artist, and I'm Miami born and bred.
And I am Crispy. I am a photographer, creative director, and I'm originally from New Jersey, and I guess now I could say I'm a Miami native after 10 years, so So, to start this, it's really great to have learned about you girls, ladies, women, and I've definitely seen all your work around like my lifetime here, at least in Miami. Definitely Claudia, definitely learned about you, and you too, Haleen. So definitely let's get, what is it that you guys really focus on? Or where are the origins where you focus on in your art?
Miami Nights. So originally my concept derives from being a Miami artist. I'm obsessed with lights, color, the sun. So using that as a narrative has allowed me to transition into my artwork where I really try to focus on light and color theory concepts. So for those of you who don't know my body of work, I'm a large-scale installation artist that does a lot of sculptures, and I also utilize sound, performance, imagery to make these small mini verses. So everything inspires me: conversations, people, walking, laughing, dancing, living a life, and then I just pull from all those conceptual, my own origin of my own journey to allow me to create another narrative. But I really do enjoy taking that narrative and then transitioning it to more of this neo-future approach. So, you know, always try to create the imaginary even more extraordinary. So, yeah, very casual, but you know. Yeah, I'm gonna pass it on to you. Oh, she has a mic. Here.
So since I'm an illustrator, I like to make illustrations about female characters that I developed. I try to develop my own stories through that. I'm inspired by streetwear, sneakers, and hip hop.
The vibrations are just coming in. It's like present.
Yeah. But I kind of started out as a traditional artist. I used to paint a lot when I was younger. I worked with a lot of ink and watercolor growing up and going through high school. But then around middle school and whatnot, I wanted to get more into digital art since I watched television a lot and I like anime. So I wanted to get into the digital game a lot more. I bought my first tablet when I was 16. But after that, I kind of just developed where I wanted to take my artwork a lot more seriously. So I wanted to take all the things that inspired me to develop into my own work and try to put my own feelings and my own energies through the characters I make. You know, I'm a bit of a tomboy, so you know, I put that same energy exactly.
Definitely.
I put that energy right into all the characters. I like to make them a little rough around the edges. I make them unapologetically black. I make them unapologetically themselves. They're all black females just going through the motions of this society that we live in. But I also draw them with a lot of sneakers because, you know, growing up, I wanted...
What's your favorite sneaker?
Ones. I love ones. I have a whole rotation. I wish I could collect all of them, but I can't.
You will, one day. You
Someday. But yeah, I went through creating things that I liked, and then I had a big break in 2018 when Adidas actually reached out to me and asked me to travel overseas to be a part of their workshop.
Hell yeah, cheers for that, yes.
And thank you. And then ever since I went overseas, I went to Germany, and then the week after they took me to London, and I had such a great time that I felt like I was on a path where I couldn't go back on it, no matter what. So yeah, I like drawing.
Okay. Miss Claudia.
Hi. Yeah, so I am a multimedia artist. I started with fashion. I studied fashion in Italy. And then when I came to United States a while back, I got into film. So I've produced and direct a couple of feature film. I was under contract to DreamWorks for a couple of years. And that was fun because it was an art form of being a storyteller. But then I was in Wynwood and I saw like all these murals. I'm like, well, let me just pick up a can. And I did one mural and that took off. So I kind of put the film on the side. I do also sculptures, big scale sculptures. And I've done my first art installation at Burning Man. I don't know if you guys know Burning Man.
Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm inspired from, I'm a storyteller, so whatever media I can take to tell a story, there's no limits. Limits is only what you put in front of you. Man, that light is freaking bright.
I know.
But yeah. Yeah, it's so bright. But mainly my work is about female empowerment. It's all about empowering women of every shape or form and whatever ethnicity to believe in themselves, to, sorry, there's no kids around here, right? No kids?
It's okay.
To not give a fuck about, other people, what they think, just to really believe in your own light and just keep moving forward. So that's what my work,
Okay, so this question actually goes out, this is for you. So, best thing about being a woman is that we're all multitaskers and we can do everything. So, so how does your daughter inspire you and the work that you create? Or who has the daughter? I'm so sorry. Yes. Okay, so how do your daughters actually?
She's a Dash. So
Ooh.
she just got accepted at Dash, which is good. She's also an illustrator. Yeah, she will love your work. I should have brought her here. She would fall in love with you. To see her growing up, in this society where, there's a lot of, especially because of social media, right? You have to look a certain way and act a certain way, and she's not like that.
That is amazing.
She's a total tomboy. So that's it's almost like a role, as a mom. You have to, and my work is really sexy too, just because I don't give a fuck.
Fuck it.
But it's a good thing, it's a good thing to try to inspire them to just don't care about what other people say. When I was little, I was bullied, a lot, because I was chubby, and so all the boys will make fun of me. So I will hide in my room and I will draw all these, comic book and cartoon characters, and that's what helped me,
So those are one of the barriers that you pretty much grew up
so.
with. And what any other barriers that Ruth or Helene has experienced and that impacted you as a woman growing up in your art?
I mean, yeah, I'll take it. Me growing up, I had a bit of a experience.
Okay.
I used to get bullied myself for being
Same.
dark skinned. Not only just being dark skinned, but also I was really, really tiny growing up. So I was the smallest kid in this class. People would call me anorexic and stuff. But
No.
it was crazy. But honestly, what I would do, because I was so into my own world, that what the characters I created and the women I looked up to, they were all strong women. They were all
They're very New York and
Yeah.
80s inspired.
they're all they had attitudes and stuff, and because I loved hip hop so much, I loved Aaliyah, I loved The Brat, and I loved Missy Elliott. I was like look at these bitches doing whatever they want. That's what I loved about them so much. So growing up, I had that expression. So I wanted to have all those emotions that I had. I had such angry emotions, and I put that all into my artwork. So growing up, I had things where things that weren't really meant for girls, because my mom pampered me to be a princess and whatnot. She made me wear dresses and all that.
I was a
and heels.
cheerleader.
Yeah,
So-
she wanted me to be a little model and stuff, for Gap or something. But I didn't like all those stuff. Like I loved sneakers, I loved hip hop, I loved like edgy things. I loved video games growing up too. I would always like try to take my brother's stuff because he always got the cool stuff. So all those like interactions, all those energies, all those experiences, I was just like, nah, I do whatever the fuck I want. That's all I put into it. So yeah, growing up, I think it molds you to things where like, if you didn't have it, then now that you're older and you try to like face those experiences, you try to recreate things that you want to in the first place, like it does so much good for your body. It does so much good for your soul, and creative wise, like your creativity like expands so much more.
That's amazing. What about you, Haylene? Oh,
Doesn't reach. Growing up, everyone thought I was crazy. I had so many ideas and I lived in such fantasy worlds that everyone just thought I was absolutely crazy. So the only mocking and teasing I ever had was to that point, but bless my parents, they never thought I was. They're like, you're amazing. I'm like, thank you. But, you know, at the end of the day, my imagination and my propelment to think beyond the borders of my own interpretations of reality allows me to create the perfect palette to transcend my work. So I'm blessed with this obscure vision that I'm able to then translate to inspire those to think outside the box. So my blessings have worked.
what artist would you bring back from the dead and why?
In what genre?
Tell me.
There's too many. I mean, there's music, there's physical. I don't know. I would have to say it would be pretty cool to meet Pablo Picasso. He was pretty insane, and one of his quotes leaves a very long-lasting impression into my physical work today. He has a quote where he said, "Art is a lie that helps us realize the truth." And for me, that resonates so much into how I interpret reality, because art is a false sense where we project this reality and then becomes into this tangible aspect where then we can relate to it. So the lie is present, but it makes us all true again. So I want to hang out with him. Yeah.
What about you?
An artist to bring back from the dead. All right.
Or you get to hang out with.
All right. Trying to bring out that art history degree. Okay, I know exactly. I would bring back to life Satoshi Kon,
Okay.
who is this amazing not only artist but animator and director. He made movies that were just all about the female experience, even though he was a man, because he pretty much had like stated how, like, you know, in high school growing up, he never fit into like the boys in his classroom. He only hung out with the girls because they liked his drawings a lot, and he felt so comfortable with them. So the movies he developed, like my favorite movie from him is like Paprika, Perfect Blue, and like Tokyo Godfathers. Like the two movies, like all those three movies, they all have like things where it's like female experiences, and like I'm like trying to grasp like how he as a writer, like maybe him hanging out with all the girls that he like befriended growing up, like did they like confide with him and whatnot, and he just channeled all of that. So I fell in love with his work, and not only with how he portrayed, like, you know, the female experience and the experiences of a woman in society, but also like other concepts were about dreams and like the future and whatnot. So I'm mad that he died like in 2005 because we was gonna get a new movie, but that's
Damn.
pretty much who I would hang out
Okay.
with.
You, Claudia?
I don't know.
Okay.
Well, I love Klimt.
Okay.
I love his work. I love his, you know, it was so, especially in the time, right? He started something different in the 20s. So I would love, you know, go to Vienna and meet him.
Okay.
Hopeless romantic.
So we're gonna open up the stage to any party that would like to ask them any questions. Yes. So what's your question? What are you trying to project through your art? What is the message?
So my body of work has a lot to deal with the user experience. So there's a huge psychology that goes into it's another layer to the narrative of the artwork. So since I'm a very site-specific installation miniverse artist, the participatory aspect of like the user that goes into the space and even how they interact with the space through photography, through video, through words or anything. I mean, with each space that I create, it allows for a different narrative and concept. So it's nice when we're able to project like even more so that people look at me and they see, I call it drilling in heels. I love fabrication, but I look good while I do it. So no one really associates a little bit, but it's beautiful that I'm able to bring that whimsical and almost the romanticism as well into the work because of my point of view with inside the spaces. So, I mean, it's important in art. There's the pre-production, production, post-production. It's the artist who creates it, and then the artist who then produce it, and then and then the experience of how others interact with the art itself. So every piece that an artist creates is a different point of view again, but then your point of view will be different from the woman next to you because of your geotag and your upbringing and your life has the association behind everything. It'll make you feel different. But as long as you feel different and makes you feel, that's all that really matters. So.
Anybody else? No? I actually want to piggyback off of what you were saying because last week I was in Puerto Rico and I was able to work with a lady, multimedia artist as well too. She's 73 years old. And her practice was filling out the space while being blindfolded. But she would study a song and then would study the space that she's in, and she works in different medias of paper. And then this time she used canvas and oils, and every time she did 2 pieces with me, and my job was pretty much to grab her in action, her performance, and what you said about making feel, like, as she was drawing it, I saw people, I saw things, I saw figures, and when I was telling her, she was just like, that's crazy because I don't see that, but it's amazing to see your perspective and your way of thinking, and it's amazing.
I mean, to continue to what you're saying, art allows us to, we need to have the audience and the performer. So for those of you who are not artists, I suggest you to be young art collectors. So if you don't produce art, collect art. And the basis that it works in its whole community component of like, we need one to have the other. So it's important we need to look, become inspired, hear, become inspired, even taste, become inspired. All these different sensories helps us relate to something more that will give us all a ripple effect into our own, inspiration.
Amazing. Yes.
What kind of obstacles have you had to overcome that made you grow as a woman in the arts?
Do you want to go?
This is everyone.
You haven't talked.
I guess I can answer. A few obstacles. There might be times when things might feel, you might feel excluded sometimes, and you sometimes won't know how to like maneuver or get through it. And sometimes things might just not how it works, and that's okay, because at the end of it, you're just gonna have to be like, all right, I'll just focus on myself. If these people are not accepting of me, then it's like, all right, then I'll just do my own thing. And then sooner or later, which has happened before, they start seeing you. Like, the best advice is like, someone is always watching you, and you never know who, but they always be peeping your stuff. So, you know, you just gotta keep like rocking it out. You just keep to your own world. Like, you know, I stay up late making artwork like 8 times a week. So, you know, I'm up like gremlin hours of the night, and I'm just producing so much work, you know, because sometimes it just blows up. But like, whenever you feel excluded, you know, just be like, all right, you know, I won't say get over it. Just be like, plan your revenge. That's the best way I'll put it. Like, plan your revenge. That's like how I think about it. Like, exactly. Like, sometimes you just gotta be like, oh, you know what? I'm the main character, so you know, it'll come back around eventually. So you know, that's it. You know, a lot of times people didn't even know, when people look at my artwork, they didn't know that I was a girl in the first place. Like, they look at my stuff and they thought I was a dude. Like, a lot of times I've been faced with that. And it doesn't bother me, honestly. I just think it's really funny because that's like the first assumption. So, you know, just keep rocking yourself out and just keep doing you.
Let me take this one. Yeah. I mean, Elon Musk said an amazing quote earlier that really resonated to exactly what you're talking about. They asked him, what advice would you give entrepreneurs? And he said, if you need advice, you shouldn't be an entrepreneur. So as an artist, you're not just one position, you're all positions. I do marketing, I'm a manager, I'm an agent, I'm finance, I'm the dealer, I'm the gallerist, I'm the social media manager,
Yes.
I am the stylist, I am the art director, I'm the exhibition designer, I'm the fabricator, I am the studio manager, and I do that plus my personal life. And I manage all of those positions as is because life is limitless. And to go back to what the question was prior, there's no limitation being a woman. There's nothing about that. If anything, I think I have way more advantages. So, yes, heels all day. But you shouldn't, I don't suggest for those who are faint-hearted to be an artist if you cannot live for it. Art is not about, the success will come when you are, I have a conviction to my process, and I don't know what else to do in life. It's a conviction, and within that conviction, people will see exactly what you were saying earlier. It's like, it's about staying in that realm where then if you cannot convince yourself that this is everything, how else are you going to convince others? So, yeah. Who wants to be an artist?
Sarah, where's Sarah? Are we convening or? I have like a couple more questions I can ask. Okay. You get one, I get one. Let's go. What's your question? My
that's me.
girl right here, Ruth.
So it's an interesting story, honestly. So it was last March, and it was my husband's birthday, and he wanted a pair of Skylons. And at the time, I was working in South Beach. So there was this Nike store near South Beach that I would go into sometimes. I walked in there and I bought him a pair of Skylons because it was there. I got the bag and I left and I went home. Then I had the bag for like a week, and I was like, hey yo, this is a pretty good bag. Like, it'd be a shame if I just throw this away. Like, you know when you have an iPhone, you don't throw away the box?
Yeah.
It's pretty
Definitely.
much like that. But I was like, I don't know what I do with the bag. But after feeling it up and just like feeling the material, like I realized, like, you know, this feels pretty strong. Let's see how it would hold up with the ink on it. So I just drew on it. I just wanted to see what would happen. I just wanted to see, like, would it smudge? Would it hold it up really nicely? Would it last? And I was just there like, yeah, this is pretty cool. It's like a canvas almost, because, you know, I ran out of paper at that point. So that was pretty much the start of it. And because it was March, and I really like Nike too, you know, I'm a big fan of their shoes, I noticed that, you know, March is always like Air Max month, because, you know, they always celebrate that. So I was like, oh, this could be like a cool thing I could do for just to celebrate Air Max. So for like a good couple of weeks until like for the whole month, I was just drawing on like shoots on the bags. I went back to the store. I met with one of the employees. I was like, listen, bruh, you think you can just give me like 2 bags? And I just told him, like, I just need it for like a project. Just, you know, I'm not buying nothing because I ain't got the money. So, you know, he was like, all right, I got you. And he brought me like 2 bags. And he actually not even 2, he gave me like at least 3. So, you know, he gave it to me. I went back home, I was like, oh, thank God I got like more bags. So that's pretty much how it started. And pretty much after that, yeah, that was just an experiment that pretty much turned out really good. That's it.
Okay, that's amazing. And then what is something about Miami that you ladies implement into your work? Do you guys even implement Miami? Anything? Like any inspiration about Miami into your artwork? Claudia?
The
Coming
weather.
from Italy,
Yeah,
she's
the weather,
Italian.
the weather, the people, the multicultural, you know, especially after Art Basel, right? Art Basel happened when? 2004, 3,
Yes.
2, 3?
3.
2003. So since then, I've changed so much. It's so like the multicultural. It's incredible. You don't have to go anywhere. Everything is here. You know, so yeah, Miami is very inspiring. The weather, the freaking
weather.
weather, man. The sun.
Okay. Well, you? Anybody else want to? The sun, el sol. Yes?
So originally, I'm not from Miami actually.
Me neither.
Like I was born in New York, but for a good number of years,
Okay.
I lived in like Georgia. So, you know, I was mostly immersed into like the Atlanta culture, you know, and that's how like it all grew from there. That's why I like Ludacris so much. But like around high school, it was like my junior year, like the beginning of that, my mom had moved us down here to like, you know, we lived in like around Hollywood.
Okay.
And I went to school up in Broward because, you know, it was like the fine arts there. And just, I felt like it was all different from like, even from another state, like everyone was so different, especially art kids. Art kids in different state, you would notice if you would peep what they're on. So like a lot of them was doing stuff in Miami, like they would travel down to Miami, like minutes away, like through the highway, just to like do art events there. And you know, like there was a girl who I was good friends with at the time, and she had invited me down there. She was like, oh yeah, let's go there. Like, you know, there's like cool artists that are down there. They're like doing all this stuff. Like we make our own stuff down here. And I was like, I never experienced this before in Georgia. So, you know, I went down, and it was the time where it was like CD Project. It was CD3, I think that was it. And I saw like a lot of like these kids that were just like not only like selling and producing their own artwork, they were just making their own music. They had their own thing going on. So that was like pretty much the moment I felt like, yeah, this is way different. Like, so like it was just about like all the hustle and stuff too. Like everyone was making like their own stuff, and they were so entwined to like their own path. So like that inspired me from just being in the town of it and like talking to like the people and whatnot, and like even going to school in Miami. I felt like everyone was just on their own grind. So that pretty much inspired me.
So you
to
feel
be on
like
their
you're
own
constantly evolving?
grind. Yeah, I feel like everyone.
So how is your artwork now affected even after 2020? better?
I had the privilege during the pandemic. I was a lead visual artist for Tidal Music Streaming, and I would travel with them doing a lot of site-specific sculptures for all their festivals or the events. And just like a domino effect, a year ago, everything just... Sorry, I'm getting a lot of feedback. And just like a domino effect, I went from having a very, very large employee group, production group, to having absolutely nothing coming in, like zero finance, zero everything. But instead of just sitting and dwelling, why did this happen to me? Why did this exist? Like, how am I going to do this? Like, this is not, and I'm in a weird loophole where I wasn't getting grants, or I wasn't getting as much support, and I wasn't going to take out a loan to just be in debt for the rest of my life. So I decided to take this opportunity to dive in to learn a new physical form. All my body of work is very commission-based, so I go from straight to commission. So I never produce work just because I feel like it. I was very strategic on just where's the contract, here's the physical work. I don't have time nor the finances to support a concept without having an end destination for it. So this is the first. I'm actually publishing in 2 weeks my first series of small commission. Small series of small sculptures from a concept that took me 10 months to come up with, all of the pandemic. And if it wasn't for the pandemic, I would have never been able to really find this new era of my life that's going to be when I publish this. So the best advice I could give anybody in this sense is just keep on working, keep on doing. If life is bringing this new avenue as an artist, your art is to evolve. Your art is to evolve. Your art is to transcend. Your art is to just continue going. It's all bullshit. Just keep on going. Like, it doesn't matter. If you feel like shit, fucking do artwork about it. If you feel great, do artwork about it. It's just about doing artwork and creating that timeline, your own catalog for... There you go. So, in that sense, you know, we all went through it, but now we're coming out of it. So what better time now than to support your local art community and to buy art.
Well, I think this is the end, and you girls were amazing. Any last words that you girls want to give out? Any advice? Any new things that you guys learned over the pandemic?
I guess my only advice is to just, sometimes you just gotta do your own thing. Like, I treat making artwork, I treat being an artist as like the end of the world for me. Like, I don't imagine myself doing anything else. Like, I have to be creative. I have to put my skills into something that allows me to make the stuff that I do. Like, even as a job, you could be being a hybrid artist. Like, I would work as every day, make things that would do things for the job, coming up with skills for the job, but all that at the end of the day would go seep back into my artwork. Develop those skills, just do whatever it is, bang it out, don't let anyone tell you no. That's pretty much
yeah.
it.
I think this is it. Claudia? Well, thank you, and thank you ladies for taking the time. Thank you everyone for coming. Thank you. Yeah, let's go have fun now.
Look 'cause I've had enough of all this controversy. I've been affected and I can't